Hey. Oh, hey. How you doing, man? Oh. There you go. Hopefully my settings are good. I think they're alright, but we'll find out. How you doing tonight? I'm gonna do just a little bit of weathering tonight. I don't even know if I'm gonna finish this car all the way, but because I'm a little tired and had an op session today, I've got another op session tomorrow, so I gotta get up and go to church early. But yeah, we're just gonna do a little chilling tonight. So I think I've got everything I need here. Got the paints. Let me take out my oil paint. There we go. There's the dark rust. There's my white. There's my oil paint. As you can see here, I filled in the holes on the car that we weathered last week. I just gotta wait for them to the putty to finish setting up, and I think I might need to fill a little bit more in these middle two holes. But then I'll just touch up the weathering on that, and that car will be fully done, which is exciting. And while that's drying, we're gonna get to work on this 50-footer. Let's see, how old is this car? I cannot tell. Does not say. Unless it says somewhere on the car itself. But yeah, how's everyone doing tonight? Hopefully everyone's doing good. Hopefully everyone's, you know, chilling. So yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and work on this 50-foot car tonight. Oh, I forgot. I've got to do a little camera magic here. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Let me do this. And then this. Flip. Flip. And transition. Perfect. Now it's all good. Flip the camera around, that way I can do my work as I normally would, and I don't have to keep flipping it upside down to show the camera here. But yeah. I hope everyone's weekend's going well. Personally, I've had a pretty good weekend so far. I've got my shirt on for my layout that I operate on. We had a op session tonight. Oh, shush, YouTube ad for my music. Don't do that. There we go. But yeah, I had a good chill day today. We went, operated on the layout. Had a good session. And then after that, I went, came back home, did a little schoolwork, did a little hanging out, did a little more schoolwork, did a little more hanging out, and then I decided, I'm awake enough, we'll hop on stream. And then tomorrow I've got yet another op session, so busy, train-filled weekend, but a lot of fun. Let me get my X-Actos here and take off this running board because I don't want it on there. Where did I put my X-Acto kit? Where did I put it? Ah. Got it. So remember where my camera is. Alright, let's carefully pry this up. There we go. Pry it up. So, oh, shoot. Oh boy. Alright, let me see if I can get at that from the inside. Well, I didn't want to do that, but that works, I guess. Oh boy. Alright. I wanted to do this. There we go. Can I get at it from the inside? Yes, I can. We're gonna pop that out. Come on. There we go. Pop that out nice and clean. That out. That one out. That one. Oh, I gotta be turn it around that way I don't accidentally stab myself with the X-Acto, because that'd be bad. That off. There we go. Ah, yes, that's right. I forgot I re-weighted all my cars. See, for this car, I just straight up used snapshots. That's not what they're called. No, that is what they're called. I can't remember. Fishing weights is what I used. Because they're each about 10 ounces. Or, no, not 10 ounces. 0.1 ounces. A tenth of an ounce. That's how that works. So I just slapped those onto the existing weight on the car to add enough to get it up to NMRA weight standards. So now this 50-foot car weighs just over an ounce. And if you're curious about that, there's a weight standards calculation sheet on the NMRA website you can check out to get all your rail vehicles up to recommended weight for your scale. Let's carefully kind of clean up the edges of this. So that we're not going to have any bits that are standing up, proud of the car. There we go. Okay, come on. A little bit more. Okay, next piece. Let me actually take the blade off. That way I don't have to deal with the whole handle of the X-Acto. Hey, welcome back, Wolfie. Glad you're here. We're working on another boxcar here. I filled in the holes on the roof of the one we worked on last week. And I'm getting some holes ready on the roof of this one this week. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill these and then start working on the sides. That way, hopefully by the time I get to the roof, we'll be in a position where I can just apply a little bit of paint and the roof of this car will be ready to go. How have you been? How are you doing tonight? Thanks. Yeah, just doing a little bit of cleaning this up where there's nothing standing proud of the roof seams.
Spectrum Business is made to work the way small
be
business.
quiet advertisement. There we go. Much better. I wish I had a better way to do music than YouTube, but I mean, I guess I could get YouTube Premium or YouTube Music or whatever, but I'm not. I'm a college student. I don't have the money for that. Sorry to hear that, but I'm glad to hear you're doing all right. Otherwise, I used to play soccer when I was younger. I went through every position on the field. I went from being a striker when I first started playing, back to the last couple years I played, I was the goalie. So I went through the whole field. Clean off any and all bits and shards of plastic. There we go. But I'm glad to hear that you're doing well otherwise. It's good to hear. Okay, that can go away. Let me take the putty. Oh, didn't mean to do that. We're gonna squirt just some. This is just plastic putty from Vallejo. Yep, losing the walkways. That's what I do. It's you know, when you model the 75 to 85, all these walkways start to get taken off mid 70s. As the FRA changed the regulations. So there's a couple cars I've left them on. Oh yeah, definitely tears up your knees if you're not careful. But yeah, the walkways, you know, FRA changed the regulations, and I think it was 72, after 71 or 72, I can't remember off the top of my head. But after that year, they weren't allowed to make roof walks on new cars. Oh, I'm putting too much putty on that. And then after that, it was a slow moving work through the 70s and 80s to the point where all the walkways were either removed or the cars were replaced. Wipe off that extra putty. In some cases, through about the mid 80s, it was actually remarkably long, to be completely honest, how long some cars ran with the walkways, but they really started going away pretty quickly on the larger scale. The fun thing about it is, though, because a lot of the cars, they just straight up removed the walkways, you still have, like on this car here, you'll still have, oh, let me get my light over here, the, on the top of the ridges, you get those, if I can get it, the relief to shine, there we go, there's those pieces right on the top of the ridges that the walkway would sit on. Those are all still there, and you still get the full height walkways and stuff, and you still get the full height brake gear, but new cars were built with lowered brake gear, and some cars had their brake gear lowered, like my first Penn Central car here that I was showing last week. On this kit that I built, this I got as an Intermountain boxcar kit, removed the walkway, filled it in with it had larger holes and it had more frequent holes, so I filled it in with styrene and then putty. But I removed that. I cut down the ladders. Where's the brake gear? There it is. I moved the brake gear down to about the halfway point on the car, where they are on modern cars. And like I said, cut down all the ladders. So you get a little bit of everything in the 70s and 80s. So I keep some cars, because the years I model are 75 to 85. So there's some cars. Oh, shush. There's some cars that I keep that still have the roof walks and the full height ladders. There's some cars where I cut off the roof walk and leave the full height ladders, and then there's some cars where I do everything. I cut it down, make it the ladder shorter, the whole nine. And it's all prototypical pretty much because 75 to 85, it was whatever rolled on steel wheels with flanges was able to basically carry freight. As long as it wasn't being interchanged, you could put whatever you want on the rails. And even stuff that was interchanged, if you know, as long as you had roller bearings on them, that was the primary, that was really the primary rule, and that was only after 1980, I believe, was interchange cars had to get roller bearings. And that's something I don't think I'm going to model on. I'm not going to keep super strict on, just because I would mean replacing whole truck assemblies for dozens of cars that I have. So I'm not going to be as strict on the roller bearing thing, but yeah. Anyways. Fascinating topic was the updates in FRA regulations. Alright, let's get some white oil paint out onto my palette here. Cap that up, that way it doesn't dry out. Have another sip of tea. I've got some delicious maple tea in my New Haven Railroad map mug that my girlfriend got for me. Very nice. And very delicious tea. Alright, what brush shall I use? What brush should I use? We'll take this brush. Nope, we'll take this brush. I lied. Alright, take a little bit of paint up onto the brush over here. And then let's start fading this paint. We're gonna aim for a similar effect as we did on the other car overall, but obviously rust in different places, and I might do a little bit less rust on this car. We'll see. That's the thing with my weathering, is I just kind of, unless I'm following a specific prototype, or unless I'm doing it for someone and they've asked for something very specific, I just kind of see where the weathering takes me. And see, you know, oh, that looks good, or oh, that doesn't look like it has enough rust, so let me add some in there, and so on. This brush is not wide enough. Let's take this brush. Nope, that brush is too wide. That brush should do. It's all about the right tool for the job. I love weathering. It's so, for me, it's just so relaxing. It's so, you know, just kind of a very zen thing to do for me. Get the paint faded on this here boxcar. Let me actually take out my paint here before I forget. I know it was in this bag. Did I take it out of this bag? Otherwise, if I don't do this, I'm going to forget that I wanted to take out my Penn Central paint. I know it's in here somewhere. It was in here good.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here.
Oh,
Big wireless.
be quiet, Ryan. Yeah, here we go. We've got some True Color paint, Pen Central Deepwater Green, and we'll use that to fix up the top of the box car, at the very least on this one. Maybe not this one. This one I might just, well, nah, this one I'll probably just put some rust on, because that was my plan. But for this one, I've got the Pen Central Green. It's not going to match exactly, but it'll be decently close, and we'll cover up the colors not matching with some weathering. And that's the plan. So anyone got any exciting plans for the weekend here that they either did today or planning on tomorrow? Or is it just a chill hangout weekend? Or is it a getting things done weekend for y'all? Yeah, well, I don't really know. I'm just kind of going as I work. We'll see if it works, and if it doesn't, then I'll just hide everything with the weathering. We'll just rust the whole roof. So these doors are going to be a little bit more invasive about. Might need a little more paint on my brush to really get into the grooves of the doors. Also maneuver my light a little better so I can see and you can see better. Let me move. Whoa, didn't want to move that. I wanted to move the window to my left monitor. That way when I look up at chat, I'm looking at the camera. Oh boy, that is quite the task. I feel your pain. I'm looking at moving out of this apartment in a couple months as I finish up school here, and I'm not looking forward to that cleanup job. There's a lot of stuff in this apartment that I've built up in here that I just, I use basically all of it. It's like books and, modeling supplies and clothes and all this random things and posters and stuff. But all that's going to have to get out of here. Then I've built all this stuff up over the past 2 years of living here, and now it's like, oh, it's all going to have to go. And I'm not looking forward to that. Not looking forward to that, not going to lie. It's going to be quite the project. But we'll get there, hopefully. Just like you'll get there. Oh. Don't need that alarm. Switch to this brush for a little while because it's a little stiffer, and we'll hopefully be able to get in and stay in the grooves and be able to actually move the paint around in there. I'm very happy. I got recently a USB extension cord, so I can actually move my light around now, and I don't have to have it stuck to the very edge of my desk. Because the little desk lamp I have here has a USB power cord, like male to male USB power cord, and it was like 2 feet long or something ridiculous. So it really could not move very far away from the edge of my desk. So glad I have the freedom to move this lamp around now, so I can see what I'm working on better, and y'all can see what I'm working on a little better. As long as I keep it in frame, which I gotta keep checking myself on. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that purchase. That was I got, I think, a 4 foot. I can't remember if I got the 3 foot or 4 foot or the 6 foot extension cord. I think I got the 4 foot because it's not that long. But yeah, that was $5 well spent, in my opinion, to have an actual functional lamp that isn't just trapped on the very edge of my desk for eternity. It's a purchase well made. Use this brush to get into the corners. Let me get it. Oh yes, makes a huge difference in being able, in usability, and functionality of the light. A huge difference. Oh, that was the wrong brush to use. That was one of the brushes I used on the hoppers that I brought to the layout that I went to today. I regular operator on this layout, this model railroad layout, and I went over to his house because operating session was today, and I brought back some of his hoppers that I've been weathering for him. Let me get a little bit of water here and try and clean that up. But yeah, I must have used that brush for the weathering powders, and now I gotta wipe that all off. Or make use of it. But we're probably just gonna clean it all off. There we go. That's better. Still a little bit dirty there, but... Whoa! What fell? Oh, my mouse. That's fine. So this over here. Right there. Right there. There. That's a good level of light. One more up. No, we'll do full power. Alright, well, whatever color's left on there, that grime, we'll just have to make use of that. Let's see how set up is this. Not super well set up, so we'll keep moving on to car ends. Hate it when this happens, when it just picks up the highlights and not the highlights, the high spots. It doesn't actually get in there and, excuse me, work its way in. And I have to take another brush and work it into the actual crevices and everything, and it's annoying. Oh.
Wix is your...
Shush. Shush. Advertisement. Shush. Good. That side is done. Next side. To be honest, this one really doesn't need much fading. The color is already fairly faded just from age. I don't know how old this one is, because this one doesn't have a date on the box, unlike the other one, which I know is as old as the box car it's supposed to be modeling. Yeah. Hi, Jason. Yeah, I'm glad I got Wix out of here. Yeah, this one's not quite... I don't think this one's quite as old as the one that's... This one here, that's from 1968. But it's probably from about that. You know, 1968 to 1970 to, you know, that era of model. I have not ever... I've never done graffiti. I've never gotten into it. Mostly due to the fact that, from all the pictures I've looked at, and I've looked at quite a lot of them, railcar graffiti, other than subways, in the 70s and 80s, really was very minimal. Like, railroads, as much as they didn't give a crap about how their cars looked, they, I guess, did enough of a job of either protecting or cleaning their cars that there really was never that big of an issue of railcar graffiti. Buildings and stuff, on the other hand, I will have to graffiti, and I have not gotten into that yet, and I might have to turn to you for some advice on that front, because your graffiti is some of the best I've seen in N-Scale for sure. But I've not gotten into it. Like I said, mostly because I haven't seen that many prototype pictures of rail cars in the 70s and 80s that are graffitied, which is kind of surprising in a way, because that was kind of the rise of graffiti, was that whole era. But yeah, I just mostly keep it to nature's weathering. Let's get into the crevices of the door here. I've thought about doing graffiti, and I might use some of my old Bachmann stock, like rolling stock, to just do small tests, and I might look into how prototype pictures, prototype photos of prototypes from that era look. Yeah, it was. It's just so strange because, like, that's the thing that that era is known for, especially on subway cars, right? You see all the pictures, and especially if you get down to New York at any point. I know you're up in Canada, but if you ever get to New York City on a visit or anything, and you happen to find yourself in the Transit Museum in Brooklyn, they've got pictures of the Bluebird subways that are, or the Redbird subways, excuse me, that were just coated in graffiti. And it was a whole movement that the MTA did to clean up graffiti through the 70s, or through the 80s and into the 90s. But I don't know, I guess it just didn't make its way into the rail yards, because I don't know if they were well guarded enough, or I'm not really sure, to be honest. But all I know is I haven't seen that many pictures of it, so I kind of model what I see. my chair. That would have been a problem. Yeah. Checks out, makes sense. Yeah, I mean, we model what we see and what we like to do. And personally, I mean, I know you love, from watching your videos and stuff, and just seeing how much you get into it. I know you love doing the graffiti on your models and making it, look like the real thing. Personally, I love the rust, and the 70s and into the 80s. That was the height of rust on the railroads. So that's why I chose that. And also, it's a little bit interesting because I also chose that era because it's not too far out of the way. Because yes, they do. But yeah, I chose to model that era mostly because of the rust, but also a little bit because I love the New Haven Railroad, and New Haven Railroad got pushed into Penn Central in reality. It got pushed into Penn Central in '69, and it had been financially destitute for decades. But after the year 1900, there was maybe 10 years where they were actually solvent. I try to go live every Saturday or every Friday, Saturday. I'm trying to get consistent with these kinds of things. A, because it's fun and I enjoy interacting with y'all online, but B, because it helps boost me in the algorithm and stuff, and I like having the ability to show people my stuff. So if I can play the algorithm just a little bit to get my stuff out to more people and the stuff of the people I know out to more people, then that's worth it for me. But mostly it's because I enjoy chatting while I work. And if I wasn't live on here, I would probably be either talking on the phone with my girlfriend or watching a video. Oh yeah, that would be fun. We should totally do that. Yeah, that'd be great. We hop into a Discord call together and screen share or something, or not screen share. Use the camera, something like that. That'd be cool. I'd love that. We'll have to figure that out. But yeah, I just like to chat with people, I enjoy the interaction back and forth and being live like this and having the ability to share what I'm doing. Much in the way, I assume you enjoy it because of how you post your stuff and go live, so. Yeah, that would be super fun. Alright, let's see. How set up is this putty? This putty is fairly well set up. I mean, actually, looking at this from a different angle, I noticed it's not as... Oh, you can't see anything with light like that. There we go. It's not quite as blended as... There we go. That's a little more blended. Let me get a clean brush to kind of clean it off. Pick up some of the excess. I think what I'm going to do here, let me do this here. What did I do? No, I didn't want to do that. Properties, that's what I wanted to do. Nope. Do that. Paste. There it is. So this is, I think, oh, why is it like that? I don't know why it's like that. Let me see if I can fix that so it's not. Yeah, I'll shoot you a DM for sure. Cause that I would love to do that. That'd be a lot of fun. Alright, I'm not sure how this open image in new tab. Cheers. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping in. And yeah, I'll shoot you a DM maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday. I don't know. We'll have to do some figuring. But sounds like a lot of fun. Have a great night. What is the dimensions of this image? 725 by 370. There we go. That's why. 725 by 373. Why is it still? Alright, let me just download the image, I guess. Save, local file, browse. It's still weird. Alright. Alright, I don't know why this is like this. Let me remove the source and add a new source. That is a media file. Add source. Reference. I gotta get my fingers up in the chat in the camera because of how bad this computer is. Browse. Downloads. What? Oh, I chose the wrong freaking source type. It's gotta be image. Reference. Browse. There it is. Hey. So this is what we're going for. Of course, it's not quite the right. I'll see if I can find a double door real quick, but if I can't, it's close enough. I want it to be a little lighter than this guy down here. Yep, we'll go with that. That's fine. I think we'll make the roof a little rustier and the actual sides a little cleaner. But yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Alright, let me, before I do that, let me shake up this paint. Crack it open. Ooh, it's been a while since I used this. A little crunchy. Alright, let me find a finer point brush. Like, for example, that one's fine. Fine enough anyway. We're going to take this Pen Central Green and we're going to cover over everything. Ooh, smell of acetone paint. Fun stuff. Woohoo. So it's a little dark, but it should dry a little lighter, which will be good. But yeah, we're gonna, I think what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna paint this all over. Let it dry. While it's drying, we'll weather up the roof of this one again to finish that job off. And then we might call it there for the night. Might keep going. We're going to see how tired I get. And also, I do want to keep an eye on the time because I have a relatively early morning compared to what I'm used to on a Sunday. So, I'm keeping my eye on the time. I'm not going to stream for too much longer. But we're going to try our best here to get some stuff done. Alright. So that's covered well enough. I think what I might do is put a dot of green over all of this. Just a little bit. So in case I miss anywhere. Perfect timing. How have you been today? There we go. Get those all filled in that way in case I miss any rust. Right. And now the problem of cleaning this. I think I might take out my little bottle of mineral spirits. It's over here that I was using to clean my airbrush earlier. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I bet, yeah. Whew. Yikes, yeah. It doesn't feel like tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. And I don't know why. But it just doesn't, that feels wrong somehow. It feels like it's not true. It's not real. But yeah, here it is. Please come off paint. But yeah, I bet that was insane, to say the least. I hope things weren't too crazy. But knowing New York, they probably were. Get some alcohol in here. I need some acetone. Unfortunately, I don't have any. There we go. Between the mineral spirits and the alcohol, I cleaned off the brush well enough. There's minimal pigment left on there, so that's fine. All right, let's close this up. Get this squared away. Put it over there. Put this over there. Yeah, that sounds very interesting. It sounds like an interesting time, to say the least. Oh, let me hide this one while I'm working on the other one. And we also can get rid of that source because I don't need that. Put that over to the side to dry. Let's take this one out. actually. I'm gonna use my airbrush to dry it out. Oh yeah, I can also show you how the airbrush works. So the airbrush is hooked up to the compressor by the air hose. And then I push down to get the air coming. And then I pull back to spray. So push down to get the air and pull back to spray. But I don't have anything hooked up to it right now, so I'm just using it as an a compressed air pump, basically. So just dry out the paint a little faster. Hopefully it's not too loud. I'm gonna give you a call after I get off the stream here. I'm not gonna stream for too much longer. I might stream until like midnight or 12:15, but not much further than that, because got a long day ahead of me tomorrow still too. I got a whole nother operating session. Yeah, probably, because it's a very fine thing to get the. It's very difficult to get the right consistency of the paint when you're using the airbrush. It's a challenge, to say the least. Let's do a little. Well, nope, I have some oil paint already on there from when I was doing a little work this morning. Yeah, I was going to the layout that I operate on this morning. I got up. I had to be there at 10-ish. So I had to leave here at like 9:30-ish. So I got up at like 7:45-ish. Because I just woke up and I was like, well, at this point, might as well stay up. But then I went to go take out all the train cars that I weathered for this guy. And I went to take pictures of them all, and I took all of them out, and I noticed I didn't actually get around to weathering one of them. So this morning I frantically rushed to finish up the weathering job by weathering this one car as fast as I could this morning. I got it done in just about an hour, which is not too much faster than normal, but fast enough that I could get going in time. And it turned out fine. Just wasn't quite as detailed as I normally would like for it to be. But yeah, that was quite the moment of like, uh-oh. Right, there we go. I'd say that's fairly well hidden. Unless you actually look at the topography of the roof, but that's fine. We're gonna ignore that. It's fine. It's normal. But yeah, that's why I have oil paint on my, mostly still wet oil paint on my palette, is because I was just like at the speed of light and sound weathering a coal hopper this morning. I mean, it turned out good. Let me pull up a picture of it on my phone and share it with the camera. Let's see, which one was it? It was Reading 091. There it is. So, turned out just fine. You know. And it looked great running on the train today, with all but 3 of the cars on the coal train are now weathered. And I took those 3 home with me today, so that's, I'm finishing up the job. But yeah, so that was a fun little, well, I don't know if fun is the right word for it, but that was a little event that occurred this morning. It frazzled me so much that I forgot to bring my granola bar with me. So I still have my granola bar here. But it was okay. I had a donut when I got there, so that was my breakfast. 10:15 a.m. donut. Very healthy and nutritious way to have started my day, I must say. I don't know if I could think of a better way to start the day than a maple glazed donut from Stewart Shops. This is a jazzed up a further jazzed up version of Fly Me to the Moon. I'm just noticing that now. This is like a bossa nova version of Fly Me to the Moon. Please be true. That's funny. I don't think I would have noticed that if I wasn't singing it in jazz. Although I may not be now, we're gonna see, but the concert moved dates, and so because of that I may be switching to the other song, and we may only do, well, not because they switched dates, but because the band is struggling on Fly Me to the Moon a little bit more than the other song for some reason. And so if we can't get it down, then I'll sing the other song. If we can't get it down, someone else will sing the other song, and I'll sing Fly Me to the Moon. But either way, I get to sing jazz, which I'm hype about. There you go. I'd say that car is now done. Officially. I might do another pass of the putty some other day. But, yeah, that one's done now. Pretty happy with that. So now we got these two running front to back, and now we're working on this one, and this one we're gonna try and aim for something like this. Something along those lines. Obviously it's not quite the same because this is a double door box car, and the reference there is a single door box car, but they're both 50 footers, so that's close enough. And it gets the vibe of what I'm looking for. You know, just light rust on the, you know, along the spars and the rivet lines, and just a couple of very fine little streaks of rust coming down over the Penn Central mating worms. I have to put on an ACI label onto this train car. Hold on 1 second. Let me get my decals out. ACI labels. Perfect. I'm glad I remembered. Alright. I gotta put these are the first barcodes ever used in a, public sense. Was ACI, or Automatic Car, no, Automatic Car Identification, that's what it is. Also known as CarTrack. It was the first ever mass-produced, widespread use of barcodes. Come on. Here's my decal liquids. Where did I put them? Oh, they're up here already. And they were used to track cars without having to use actual paperwork, so the computer would track it instead of the people going and writing down. Thank you. appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I'm glad that you think it looks good. I think it looks pretty good, but I don't want to toot my own horn too much and, you know, do anything like that. But, do I have my tweezers here somewhere? Where do my tweezers go? Put the knife down before I start flailing around with it. Where did my tweezers go? Why do I lose everything immediately upon putting it down? They fall off my desk. Why do I always immediately lose things? Did I put it in my soldering iron? I don't think I did. I might have. No. Well, that's unfortunate. There they are. They were hiding behind the boxes. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Okay. Let me take a little bit of water here. There we go. A little bit of water for my water slide decals. Excuse me. Excuse me. Alright, let's cut out these decals. 2 ACI labels, 1 for each side. The other one will eventually have to get one. I'll have to figure out how to blend the weathering in on that. Okay, put the decal sheet away. I'm glad I remembered to put the ACI label on this one because I was a little bit disappointed when I remembered, oh, I can't put the ACI label on this one because I was doing this at home and I didn't have my decals with me. But now I have my decals. Yeah, that's the one. So that one is the one that I'm gonna, the picture there is, that's what I'm gonna be aiming for this one. This one was mostly just off the top of my head. It was, you know, a little heavier. This one, I want to do a little bit more weathering on the roof, a little bit less weathering on the sides. So I'm aiming for something like this with the light weathering. You know, the light little streaks of rust down the along the Penn Central logo there. So that's what we're going to be aiming for eventually. I don't know if we're going to get that far tonight. We're going to see. Because I do have a somewhat early morning tomorrow. By which I mean, like, I'm going to be up at 9. Which is not super early, but it's early enough. But I could almost certainly, with very little effort, find one that looks fairly close to this. Penn Central had a lot of fairly rusty rail cars, especially box cars, and that bright green that they chose as their primary color makes the rust really pop, which makes it very fun to weather Penn Central cars. Because it's very easy to get a very bright weathering job going. A bright, nicely contrasting weathering job. But all the vibes are there, you know. And the vibes are equally important to the specific details of the weathering. Oh, come on. Pick up the decal. Oh. Probably, let me hide this reference image again, that way you can actually see what I'm doing here. Okay, come here, decal. Well, you've already fallen off the paper, so we'll just go ahead and pop you right down there. And yeah, I think I've captured the vibes of Penn Central fairly well in these boxcars. And the vibes are bleak and dour. Okay, come here. You little decal, flip over. There we go. And now we get you aligned to the vertical. There we go. ACI label has been applied. Let that dry out for a second. And where did I put that knife? Where did I put that X-Acto blade? There it is. Don't have nearly enough workspace on this desk. I need a proper. When I move out of this apartment and into a you know, somewhere wherever I wind up moving for work after school here, I'm gonna need a desk with some proper space that I can actually spread out my work a little bit on and not have a mess everywhere. Because that's the vibes that we have now, is mess. We're gonna go ahead, put the next decal in the water, take out that base paper because we don't need that. Let me put this X-Acto blade away before I injure myself. What time is it? 11:45. All right. I got a little more time in me left, I think. Certainly enough time to get these decals done, and hopefully enough time to get a good start on the weathering jobs. Nope, we're not going to start. We're not going to do the microsole yet. However, I am going to adjust this decal just a little bit. And I'm going to take just a little bit of paper towel here. Oh boy. And suck up some of this excess liquid. There we go. That way it will hopefully adhere to the surface a little bit nicer. And now we're going to let that dry, and while that's drying, we're going to flip this over. We're going to take my tweezers, grab the next decal. Put it on a paper towel, grab my brush again, get the micro set brushed on there. There we go. And then we'll get the ACI label on there. And take a toothpick and use the toothpick to slide that into place. Get this piece of paper out of here. Even just the light weathering of fading out the car, I think, does a good job of getting the vibes of Penn Central. Of a little bit more beaten down and not quite as bright and vibrant. This one is actually kind of nice because I have where did I put it? It was over here. Nope, it wasn't over here, was it? Yes, it was. So I have an exact copy of this car. Oh, you have? Oh, I will have to. Let me check out. Let me pull it up on my other monitor here. I'm gonna pull up your channel and I'll check it out. Komeng Productions. Let me check it out. Give you a sub. Oh. Komeng Productions. Subscribe. Oh, you're an Aussie? Nice. Very nice. You have gotten yourself a new subscriber, sir. I think it's interesting. And most of what I watch online is just like North American stuff, but I think it's really interesting seeing stuff not from North America, and kind of noting the differences in both the styles of how the rail vehicles are designed, as well as stuff like just, you know, how things sound and how things look. It's interesting, the differences. And also interesting, the similarities, in a lot of cases, you know, seeing the influence of exports, especially a lot of early, from what I've seen, a lot of early Australian diesels look very similar to North American Alcos and EMDs. It's very interesting, and honestly quite cool. So yeah, I will be sure. I will be sure to check out some of those videos, cause it's cool stuff. All right, let me get a little bit of this microsol to soften the decal, help it adhere, and break down decal film. We'll let that dry up. Let me get my little decal water cup out of the way. And I'll stand it up vertically, and let's get some fading done on the roof, and then we'll start on the roof with the weathering, I think. And then we'll see how far we get. If I'm going to continue beyond that tonight or not, I don't know. Only time will tell. Let me make sure I'm staying in frame here and not pulling the car out of frame. Alright, there we go. Okay. Keep on keeping on. Get this car roof nicely faded out. So yeah, use a little oil paint here to be able to spread it nice and thin. Get the color all, you know, much less vibrant. And that helps to, you know, give the illusion of sun bleaching. And then after that we go in with some acrylic paints to make the appearance of lighter rust colors. That's kind of the rust that's already washed away from the active rust spot, and then the active rust spot I use a darker brown. Well, feel free to do so. I'm not gonna say no. But yeah, I use this darker brown oil color for the I use a darker brown, not this darker brown. This is not a darker brown at all. This is a white. But I use darker brown for the active rust spot because the rust is built up there, so it looks a little darker. And that's how you get this kind of, you know, vibe going on here. Yeah, I've always found it I mean, I guess it makes sense because it's some of the stuff that's most produced, and I'm from what I understand, there's not a ton of model manufacturers down in Australia. But I always find it a little interesting how much, like, the model railroading world is basically Japan, United States and Canada, England, and like a little bit of Germany. And like that's most of the models on the market is those, you know, like 5 countries right there. Or how many countries that was? 4 countries? I don't know. I can't math. But again, it kind of makes sense because that's where things are produced, and that's some of the most popular markets. But it's just, I don't know, I find it very interesting how, like, that's what everyone has as far as model, and if you want things other than that, you got to either start looking for very niche manufacturers, or you have to go out of your way and scratch build things or kit bash things. I don't know, it's interesting. Yeah, I bet. We've got a couple I guess that's the nice thing about North America is there's a bunch of manufacturers. So you get everything from, you know, Bachmann model, which is just your bare bones, like, boxcar costs $15, and that's it. $15 American. And then you get up to you know, medium quality models, like this is an Atlas model here. Oh yeah, here we go. Good comparison. This is a Bachmann model versus an Atlas model. On this, everything is all, you know, fairly basic details. This has a little more specific details, and then you get stuff like Intermountain, separately applied details. This is a kit, and then you get up to stuff like Rapido models, Rapido trains, which I have one of their passenger cars here, and it's extremely high detail, and that sounds to me like that one passenger car there cost me $55, and that was on pretty significant sale. So that sounds like the market that you guys have down there, which is a little bit tough to break into, I would imagine. a little tough to get started when you have to kind of put in that level of. Ooh, wow, yeah, that's. I'd say, well, I'd have to. I guess I'd have to do a conversion. I don't know how much 50 Australian is to American dollars, but the average model, ready-to-run model like this ready-to-run boxcar here would probably run you $30, anywhere between 25 and $35 American. So, and I believe the Australian dollar, I can't remember. 50 Australian to USD. Okay, actually that's not too far off. 50 Australian is about 32 USD. So that's actually not terrible. Or either it's not terrible or I'm just used to it. But that's at least, somewhat on par with what things run in North America. So, you're not too far out there. But that said, there are those cheap models out there on the market for North Americans. You get, you know, like I said, a Bachmann boxcar for $15. It won't be nearly as detailed, but you can get it. So, but all right, interesting. Currency exchange, very interesting. Yeah. So, not as far off as I thought. But yeah, interesting stuff. Okay, I think I'm fairly I mean, I'm not super happy with how this looks, but it's okay because we're gonna put another layer on top of it, and so it'll be fine. Let me rinse off my brushes here a little bit, and I think we'll at the very least weather the roof tonight. Let me keep it on with the Microset Microsole on these here. Where's the Microsole? Yeah, that's a little high. 60 USD is that's like I said, that's when you get to stuff like very high quality stuff. You get a real car for 60 USD, and 100 USD. That is quite high. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, 00. Yeah. I'd say, I mean, there is American 00, but most people use HO, which is around the same size. I think 00 is slightly larger, but an HO scale. Whoa, what did I do? I muted the music somehow. I think 00 or HO passenger coach will probably run a Bachmann passenger coach, which is like low end, will probably run you $35. A higher end one will probably run you $50-$60 USD. So $100 USD is quite steep, and I'm sorry to hear that. That's what you have to put up with. Because that is rough. Alright, let's mix some rust color here. A little bit of orange paint into my palette. And these are just acrylic paints. See, that's the other end of the spectrum, though, is a well-detailed steam locomotive in North America can go for, on average, $300 to $350. So that's not that much more. So it's like this weird non-linear progression between models down there and models up here. An average HO scale, like I said, comparing 00 to HO is not quite perfect, but it's close enough. The average HO scale steam locomotive, probably 250 to 300. Well-detailed 350 to 400, and then larger locomotives like the Union Pacific Articulated Big Boy or Norfolk and Western A-Class Articulateds. Those locomotives will run you probably $650 if you're running with the digital command control and with sound. Yeesh, okay, that's wild. If that's not DCC fitted, okay. See, that's the problem. Now, suddenly it makes sense. Yeah, the prices I was just listing off, those are prices those are prices with DCC on average. So, yeah, that's a little insane. And that puts things into perspective. So yeah, that's rough, really rough, and I'm quite sorry to hear that. That's the state of things that you have to deal with. Hee 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 hee. Oh boy. Oh, I need a little bit more brown in this rust coloring. Yeah, I'm happy, relatively happy that N scale is cheaper than HO. Not by a ton, but enough of a margin that things are a little more affordable, shall we say. And certainly more affordable than Down Under, it sounds like. Okay, I'd say that rust is well mixed. Alright. I'd say that's a fairly good rusty color. So we're gonna go ahead. Yeah. So at least there's that, but yeah, it's like you're saying, it sounds like it's significantly more limited. It's like I understand why these things are so expensive, because you have to, you know, pay for the molds that you're making, and you have to do all of the detail work and design work and all that. But at the same time, it's like, oh boy, that hurts my wallet. Go. Keep working my way along. I generally tend to work my way along the center ridge of the car first, and then along the outer edges, and then sometimes some places I'll work my way in from there. I'm gonna try and do a little bit heavier rust on the roof and a little lighter rust on the side compared to this one. Well, maybe not quite as heavy on the roof. I don't know. We'll see where I get taken. But on the sides, I'm going to aim for that picture that I had pulled up earlier. I'm going to pull it back up again. Boop. There it is. That's our goal for the sides of this not locomotive. This is not a locomotive. Fun fact. It's not a locomotive. Oh boy, I'm starting to get a little tired, it seems. So I think we might for the night just have to call it for the roof, but we'll see. Oh, I just got paint all over my hand. Fun. I have a very train-filled weekend this weekend, which is fun. I had Friday night. Took a 45-50 minute drive out to my local National Model Railroad Association meeting. Went to see an S-scale layout under construction, which is 1:64 scale. Yeah. It's 12:05 a.m. right now where I'm at. There's that time difference for you. But so I had the National Model Railroad Association meeting yesterday night. Technically 2 days ago night now that it's 12:05. That was a good time. We went to see and hear about an S-scale layout that's under construction. That's no track has been laid yet, but all the bench work is done, and he's getting ready to start putting in some track. And that was neat to see. It was cool because he was modeling New York Central Railroad, and he was modeling the stretch of railroad that runs by where I grew up. Was part of that stretch of railroad, so it was cool to see and hear about that. And then today, obviously here I'm live right now doing some weathering work, but I also had my monthly operating session at a friend's house about 30 minutes away from here, so that was a good time. Went and ran the railroad, and that was an HO scale layout. You can actually, you can see that on my channel. Got the videos from that. I still have to edit. I might do that tomorrow, or I don't know. Whatever. I'll do that sometime this week. I'll get around to editing that. And then tomorrow I have another HO scale layout that I'm taking my club here at school, my model railroad club, taking them over another 40 or so minutes to another HO scale operating session. So, very train-packed weekend, which is fun. Don't usually have weekends that are this train-filled, but it was fun. Hey! How you doing, Corey? Yeah, that's when I saw that, I was pretty shocked. For Comeng, because I assume you probably don't know, Scale Trains is a very high-end, well, not very high-end, they're a very high detail North American model railroad company, and they are making I think it's a nationwide tour, and our local National Model Railroad Association division coordinated with them to come and speak at an event for the NMRA division, but it happens to be at my school, which is pretty great for me. It makes it very simple. So that's a when I saw that, I was like, well, I guess what I'm doing that day. But anyways, how are you doing tonight, Corey? Yeah. Pretty much. Pretty much. They took over that part of the hobby very well. Which sounds like something you could use down under. Although actually, Scale Trains, from what you were talking about earlier, Scale Trains does sound like around some of the same prices. They don't make any steam locomotives, so I can't compare that, but rail car wise, it's relatively similar. Yeah, I know, right, Corey? That would have been great. I do believe they're going up to Glens Falls the day before. They're talking here at RPI, and they're going up to the Upstate Model Railroaders layout up there. I don't know if they're bringing any demo locos, but the club has asked all of us to, if we have any Scale Trains rolling stock, bring it that day. So I'll be bringing my pair of covered hoppers. Oh, there we go. A pair of covered hoppers, which means sometime between now and then, I've got to get the top one to look like the bottom one. because I got my weathered one that I've converted to Conrail already, and my unweathered one that's still in its New York Central library. So, sometime in the next month or so, I'll have to get working on that. Yeah, Scaletrains should definitely do international. They have the skills, and it might, and they, it's not like they, you know, aren't, you know, haven't bought companies toolings in the past. They bought a lot of older toolings of different companies. So if they get some Australian or European toolings, they'd be great. Yeah, let me. All right. Tonight, before I go to bed, I'm gonna find where I put your card, and I'm gonna draft up an email. And I'll send it to you tomorrow, and I'll figure out a time when I can come by to your house, Corey. But it probably won't be. It won't be this weekend, because I've already got a very train-filled weekend. I was just sharing. Friday night, I was out in Saratoga. I was at the National Model Railroad Association Hudson Berkshire Division meeting. And then today I was at Jack's Layout doing an operating session. And then tomorrow I'm bringing the club here at school to Saratoga to another layout for another operating session. So lots of trains. And obviously right now I'm here streaming, doing some weathering. So lots of trains this weekend, which, hey, I'm not complaining. My schoolwork is complaining, but I'm not. I'm not part of Hudson Berkshire yet. We're gonna see. I've gone to a couple of their meetings. And I don't know. I haven't officially joined. I'm part of the Hudson Valley Division back home. You know, just south of Hudson Berkshire. But I figure while I'm here, I'm still a member of the NMRA. I can still go to the meetings. So I figured, I'll pull by. That was, yeah, the Hudson Berkshire meeting. But yeah, that, like I was saying, it's an S-scale layout that's currently under construction. It's going to be the Hudson Division of the New York Central. It's going to be, oh no, it's doing it again. Okay, it seems to be back. Yes, Komeng, I do mean NMRA, National Model Railroad Association. They are interchangeable. NMRA is just much quicker to say, and hopefully the stream is alive again. Yeah, I forget that there's NMRA divisions outside of the U.S. And I'm hoping that the stream is back doing all right again. It seems to be, but I don't know why that happened, and hopefully it doesn't happen again. Who knows? Alright, I think what I'm going to do here, though, is I might finish up the roof, and then I might call it, well, maybe not. I don't know. We're going to see how long it takes for me to get the roof done. But I do have a somewhat early morning tomorrow, because I got to get to church. Uh-oh. Run some rust down the center line with the oil paints. Get all rusted up. Anyways, I don't remember what I was saying, but hopefully I concluded my thought in a way that was coherent. Who knows? Certainly not me. Alright, let's get this rust going here. This dark rust. This is my favorite part of the weathering process, because it just makes everything else pop in such an amazing way that it goes from looking like a kind of dirty paint to all of a sudden, oh yeah, that's a rusty train car in a very cool way. I gotta be careful not to bring some down on the side. There we go. What I've found is, honestly, the details matter not quite as much with the weathering job as the colors do. The colors do 70% of the job. Getting them in the right place does the rest. But just getting the colors right helps a lot. Because if you don't get the rust colors right, then it doesn't look like rust, it just looks like dirt or mud. That's my experience in that department. But this one is going good. Look at how that little line of dark makes that the rest of the rust and the rest of the car pop. Beautiful. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I love weathering. It's so much fun. It's so relaxing for me. To just sit down, hang out, chat with some good people online here, and make a car look like it's been to hell and back. Or taking a ride on the Penn Central Railroad, either way. Kinda. That's kind of the goal here, is to just be a chill, you know, hanging out, doing some weathering, chatting, hopefully teaching something along the way, or at least providing a baseline for people to be able to look at and follow along with a little bit, maybe. I don't know. I guess Bob Ross is kind of the vibe that I'm going for, though. So it seems, I'm hoping I'm succeeding. I don't know. Seems like I am. But that is kind of the vibes I'm going for, I guess. I'm fairly happy with how this is coming out. I think we're going to do a little bit more down the side. I think we're going to try and get these edges a little more here. happy, happy little. Well, I don't know if this is a happy little box car, but happy little rust streaks. We'll go with that. happy little panel damage. Yeah, I don't know how happy this would be. Very fresh from playing in the creek. Oh yes, 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 yes. There we go. I like that. I like that. Bringing the rust all the way along on that particular panel. That's good. Give it a little more darkness. There we go. Be careful not to go too heavy here. This is the one thing with weathering. Very easy to overdo it. It becomes very... It goes from just right to too much very quickly. Far more quickly than I think is fun. It's a very slippery slope. Hey, how you doing, Ed? It's good to see you yesterday night. Weathering a 50-foot boxcar tonight instead of a 40-foot like last time. Here's the results of the 40-footer. Well, if the light doesn't totally wash it out, there it is. I filled up the holes in the roof on the 40-footer and covered them up with some rust. So this car is officially, I think, done. I might do another pass with the putty just to see if we're filling in the see about filling in the holes a little more, but we'll see. I personally think it's fine, but we'll see how I see about it in the morning, how I feel about it in the morning rather. So yeah, we're just moving on to the 50-footer. We're gonna try and aim for the picture over there. Eventually, I don't know if we're gonna get to the sides tonight because I do have to get some rest pretty soon. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see how far we get. This roof is taking me a while because I'm doing a lot more rust than I did on the other car, and B, I'm trying to get a lot of the small details here. I think probably not. I might do one, like build one S-scale car or something like that, because it is a very nice scale, size-wise. It looks good. It's small enough that you can kind of have it in a nice, convenient place, but it's not so small that it like can be hidden behind stuff. I don't know. I might do a car. We'll see. But yeah, something tells me I might. Something tells me with how much I've put into N scale, how many dollars I've put into N scale, we'll say, I might stick around for a little bit. Not to mention that then I'd have to change my name. Or just be eternally confusing to anyone who ever, hopped into my... Well, not that I'm already not eternally confusing to people who check out my channel, because I'm N-scale train boy, but most of the videos on my channel are HO scale or other scales. But hopefully that'll change once I get started on a layout eventually. Someday. Get some more down here. That's good. Yeah, this is coming out very nice. I'm quite happy with how this is turning out. What is buzzing on my phone? Drop my keyboard. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. That scale is just such a very cool scale to be at. It's kind of sad that it's not as popular as other scales have become, because it is a very, very cool scale. If I had more time and money and skill, I probably would have gotten into S scale. Because it's a very project-oriented scale with the way things are set up, where you're doing a lot of kit bashing, mostly scratch building and kit bashing for rolling stock and things like that. And I think that's neat. I mean, that's something I enjoy, is the modeling work. As you know, that's part of the model railroading hobby. It is exactly that intermediate between the 1 to 48 of O scale and the 1 to 87 of HO. But I enjoy the whole kit bashing and, scratch building and that stuff. My little diorama here that I built last summer. It's taken a little bit of a beating, and I'm working on trying to fix it up a little bit, but this diorama here, all but one of the buildings on here I scratch built, and this is the first time I ever really scratch built anything, and I had a lot of fun doing it. It was a very fun little hobby, or not hobby, well, the whole hobby is fun, yes, but it's a fun little project, and it's something that makes me want to get into doing more scratch building and kit bashing and so on. I left a roof behind. And put the roof back on there. Gotta glue that back on. So that's something that really does appeal to me in S scale. Oh, thanks. It was let me pull up where's my mouse? For a moment here. Let me replace this with something else. That still is around. It's not mine, it's the club's. But we still have that, and actually not with that scene, but the scene we built this past summer. We got 3rd place in the Waldish competition, which was pretty darn cool. I mean, Let me see if I can, give me a minute here. How do I do this? What's the best way to do this? But I'm not sure. But so we still have the one that we brought around, that you saw. That scene we still have. That's one of our display scenes that we bring to club fairs and things like that. And we're starting to bring around the other one too now that we have it, and we've, can say we won a competition. Not won, but we placed in a competition that was nationwide for that. Let's see, do I have any pictures of that on my computer? Trains folder. W. Oh, nice. I didn't know the Polish train show was today. Shoot. Well, I mean, not like I could have gone. I was at an op session all day, but... Large icons. Oh, there we go. That's a picture. I can pull that up. Properties, browse. Desktop. Let me pull that up. You can pull up this picture of the scene from this year. There we go. Oh, it became massive. Hold on. Hold. Hold. There we go. That's the scene that is an in-progress photo of it. Indeed, Corey, indeed. But this is a progress photo of the scene that won us 3rd place in the Walters competition. It's not the completed scene, but you get a sense for what we did, and that's mostly complete in that image. We just added some more trees down around the house and between the house and the lake. We let the lake finish hardening up, and then we added some people and some animals and some more trees just generally up the hill. But that, if you go on, actually I think they just reposted some pictures of our scene on the Walters Facebook page a couple weeks ago. So if you go on the Walters Facebook page, you can find it. Let me... There we go. Get that back up. But yeah, that was a... I was very happy with how that scene came out. I bet you would have, Corey. I bet you would have come out with a whole basket full. Jeez, is it 12:30 already? Oh boy, I guess I better finish up this roof. I think I might aim for 1 a.m. to wrap up then. Hopefully before then, but if not before then by 1 a.m. That was part of it. Yes, that was part of the RPI layout, because we were working in the space where the RPI layout was going to be, and then now isn't going to be, and it's a whole thing. But long story short, yes, that was the RPI layout in the background. It still exists. It is in 72 pieces, but it still exists. We were working in the space where it was going to be because we had all the club's resources available to us there, all of the scenery stuff that the club already had. That way we didn't have to buy anything new. We bought a couple things new. And obviously we had to purchase the package for the competition. Yeah, very true. Very true, Corey. But, we're not going to be in that space now anymore with the RPI layout, and it's hopefully going to become in a space downtown, maybe, I don't know. The room was finished for the layout. It was a room that RPI had been renting, from what I understand, for storage space, and then we renewed the lease for the train club and got it all nicely finished. And then COVID happened, and then bureaucracy happened, and then nothing ever happened in the space, and the lease was going to expire, and so it instead of just having a room that no one was doing anything for, it just kind of became a new space for the orchestra and the choir, because they didn't have any space in the building they were in. And so they're going to take over that, and then we're going to move into some space downtown eventually, maybe. Is my understanding of what's going on with the club. Since I'm no longer an officer, I kind of stay out of that stuff because it drove me mad. Having to deal with all of the details of that fiasco. Oh wow, yeah, the colony shops? Oh my gosh, that would be cool. It would be a little far from campus here in Troy, but that would be cool, having a layout in the old shops building. Oh, my music ended. Let me restart it. There we go. Just to finish this out.
Their MVPs.
No ads, please and thank you. There we go. Yeah, but relative to all the places that, and especially for like freshmen, a 15-minute drive, you know, freshmen can't have cars on campus. So a 15-minute drive is not exactly accessible for people who don't have cars here on campus. So we would like to keep it, you know, downtown is like a 5-minute walk. So that would be ideal. The place it currently was going to be was about a 10-minute walk, and that was a little far from campus, to be honest. But I do see what you're saying. It is really not that far. Alright, let's finish up this roof here. That would be a problem. That would in fact be a problem. That might cause some issues. Yeah, that also might cause some issues, Ed. Yeah, I don't get the rule either, but I think it's to like. I think the idea behind the no cars on campus rule for freshmen is to promote people staying on campus and getting to know each other nominally, but it's like, I don't know. It's confusing. That is, yeah. True. Very true, Corey. Very true. Oh, I gotta make sure I'm staying more so in frame. go. Alright. Finishing up the job here. I do think this is, once I finish this up here, I am going to call it a night, unfortunately, because I got to be up for church in the morning, and then I've got to do, I got to do trombone, jazz rehearsal, and then I've got to go to the op session, so I got a busy day, but let's finish this up. That is probably a decent, like, distance wise. That's probably pretty good, but yeah, I don't know how much RPI would want their students walking down into South Troy. That's not the best part of town, shall we say. Not the worst part of town, but certainly not the best. I think that's pretty decent on the roof here. Just fill in some spots here. I do, in fact, play the trombone. I've played trombone for 12-ish years now. Nowadays, it's all basically big band stuff, jazz. But I used to be in a concert band back in high school. But yeah, we do mostly big band stuff. You know, 50s, 60s, 70s, big bands. We got a concert in the middle of April that I'm going to be singing at, which is going to be fun. I'm going to be either singing Fly Me to the Moon by Frank Sinatra, or I'm going to be singing, what's it called? Oh yeah, the Still Alive song from the end of the first Portal game, which is sung in this, which is arranged in the style of a Frank Sinatra piece. So, yeah. Yeah, 30s and 40s jazz is where it's at. That is where it's at. That's like my stuff is 30s through 50s jazz. That's what I love to listen to. Whenever I'm not streaming here and I can just listen to whatever I want without worrying about copyright law, I throw on some jazz. It's either some jazz or it is Billy Joel. There's those are my two railroading, weathering and painting musics. I'd have to check the dimensions on that, Ed, but that honestly sounds like it might be just about right. That's a good one, Ed. Ooh, yeah, I want to get a turntable and some good records, cause you really can't beat that vinyl sound. My brother has a record player and I'm very jealous of him, but also I spend all my money on trains, so I can't afford records to begin with, so I'm kind of out of luck on that one. Maybe someday when I have disposable income. But also at the same time, today I was just saying in one of my online train groups that someday when I have a disposable income, I'll buy a Rapido Amtrak Turbo Train in N-Scale and some Rapido RDCs in N-Scale. So who knows what I'll buy when I have a disposable income. Certainly not me. Anyways, I think with that, I might start wrapping things up here. I think that roof is well done. I'm pretty happy with that. I'll see once it all dries by tomorrow. We'll see where it's at. And then we'll try and get these light streaks down the side in the prototype, as you can see right there, just above the Penn Central worms. And then light work on the ends. But that's what we'll be going for. We'll see. I might either stream tomorrow night or maybe Monday night or something. We'll find out. Yeah, that's true. The 78s. The 78s are much cheaper. I in my brain I automatically jump to like full album records, and those are usually a little more costly, especially on the more sought after ones. But yeah, those 78s are I always forget how small and relatively cheap they are because a bunch of them are produced. But yeah, maybe someday I'll get into vinyl more, you know. Yes, I will. Anyways, I think that's gonna be it for the night for me. Like I said, if I might hop on tomorrow night and we'll do the sides. If not, then maybe it'll be Monday. If I do stream tomorrow, I'll try and take over your spot to the best of my ability, Corey. But I can't remember. I know I have something tomorrow night, so it might be a little later than you would normally stream, but who knows? Anyways, it's great. It was a pleasure talking to you all tonight. I hope you enjoyed hopping in and having a chat and watching me work, because I always enjoy sharing it with y'all. But with that said and done, thanks for hopping in tonight. Komang, it was a pleasure getting to know you a little bit. And Corey and Ed, always a pleasure chatting. I hope you all have a wonderful night, or a wonderful afternoon for you, down in Australia. And yeah, I'll see you guys around. Have a good night, y'all, or day, or have a good time, I'll say. I'll see you around.